Peace and love, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, please like and subscribe. And I am your host, Queen Tamara. Thank you for joining me this evening on this moon day. It's been a while since we've had a live, and I'm so grateful to be with you all this evening and to bring this heart inspired message that has been put on my heart to share with you all. And so I want to say welcome and thank you. It is Monday, Moon Day, March 17th. Can you believe it? It's already March and spring is quickly approaching us. We also are in few days post the full moon and the full lunar eclipse that we had last week, which was some amazing um energy. I can't think of any other words to describe it, but it was a very the energy was very high, very strong, very high vibrating last week. And those of you who are sensitive and noticed it, I hope you um aligned yourself with it and took some time to meditate and reflect and do some releasing and just letting go of some things that no longer serve us for our highest good. And I hope you use that time to do some inner work and some self reflection. And also, it is the holy month of Ramadan. So, Ramadan Mubarak out there to everyone. And I hope all is well. And I'm looking forward to this new exciting time period that we're in and this new exciting cycle since we had that planetary alignment that began in January. It's so much happening right now, and let's use it wisely. Let's use the energy wisely. Let's use it to for our greatest benefit and for our greatest good. And let's use it to promote world peace and love and harmony and justice and freedom. You can't have peace where there is no justice. So let's keep that in mind. And with all that's going on, let us not um succumb to the thinking that that woe is me, what are we going to do? It's this, so many things happening that appear negative and may be negative, and let's not feel that we're powerless or that we don't have any say so or control over what's happening around us. And let us use the things that are happening to shift them and motivate us to do things a different way and to find ourselves in a better place and a better space. So use let's practice our alchemy at this time. And so that's kind of what I'm going to be talking about this evening. And tonight's title is This Is No Ordinary War. And this inspiration came to me a couple of weeks ago, and I said, I got to go ahead and do this live on this topic. And I chose that title. Well, it came to me actually, This Is No Ordinary War, because it is no ordinary war. What is going on right now is very unique, very somewhat, well, I would say prophetic. We're living in the time of prophecy, and a lot of the things that are happening right now have been predicted by many great seers in the past, as well as the predictive programming from this system that we live in. And so the war that I'm speaking of is spiritual warfare, which is a war for souls and for your mind. War can take place in many different ways. It's not always physical. A lot of time when people hear that word, they think of a physical attack. And that's just one form of it, but there's many different forms of it that doesn't involve actual physical attacks, but it's spiritual and mental. And those of us who are on a spiritual path with our lives, we know that the realm of spirit, mind, and body is all interconnected, is all intertwined. There's no separation between them. is mind, body, spirit is connected. So whatever is affecting one will affect the other. And so spiritual warfare is something that is also psychological, and things that are attacking you on a soul level, if you will, or from a higher level. So those psyops, the psychological warfare, the mental tactics and things that are being used that are getting at people from different angles. And what makes when I well, one reason why I say this is no ordinary war, a lot of people are in the war and don't even know that they're in it. They're not aware of it. They think that, because they don't hear bombs outside their home and they don't see tanks rolling down their street, they think that they're safe. They think that they're free. They think that everything is just fine. And, what we're dealing with is something very different, very unique, very, at times, well, I will say sinister. However, we have to always remember that darkness yields to purified light, and that the dark side does not have the power over the Most High, God, Allah, whatever, Yahweh, whatever you want to call it, does not have the power over the Supreme Being. That it may appear that way, and it may, they may make things fair seeming, but they do not have the power over us that many of us have surrendered and have given to them. And when it comes to the psychological warfare, it starts in the mind. And once something controls your mind and controls the way you think, controls the media, controls the images that you see, those are all the weapons that are being used. Right now, we're in the beginning of a new cycle, a solar maximum and a planetary convergence is taking place right now. All of these intense cosmic energies can be used for our highest good. Like I said, it can be used for healing. It can be used to help motivate us to do things in a different way. And also it can motivate us to unite and come together, because we're much stronger as a unified force. But with also, I don't want to say, but also there's some that will try to take that same energy, harness it, and use it in a negative way. And so you counteract the negativity with positivity and being the light, holding the light. So remember that with this solar maximum, which gives us so much, which really energizes us and strengthens us, and gives us, is almost like it's activating us. It is now, I shouldn't say almost, like it's activating us. So let's use it for that maximum, and to be that to activate that light within, and use it to purify us, purify our minds, our bodies, and our spirits. That's what light does. When light shines in the darkness, it purifies, it makes something holy, it makes it great, it illuminates. So let's use this time period that we're in to do that, just illuminate our souls, and to allow these cosmic energies and this great shift that's coming, that's taking place on the planet, allow it to purify us, purify our hearts, bring us together, help foster a greater sense of unity, so that we can heal ourselves, heal one another, and heal the planet. That's what this is about. And so we can take that energy and we can align with it. We're aligned with truth and peace, justice, righteousness, right guidance. Let's return to a time when people shared and really genuinely cared for one another, and we didn't put profit over people. And so this is all of these are things that we can do to counteract the warfare that's taking place right now. The forces of darkness are using all kinds of weapons against us, all kinds, physical, mental, spiritual, psychological. It's just an all out attack. And like I said, many of us, they're so clever that many of us don't even realize that there's an attack going on, that they are living in this, the psyop, or see what's really happening. They think that they're free, which is even more um, of a war tactic, because if you can convince people who are being attacked or under attack that they're not, and that everything is fine, then you kind of got the upper hand over them. Just like, imagine if you were in a toxic relationship with a narcissist. Sometimes they will pretend and try to convince you that they're your very best friend, they have your best interest, that no one else cares for you like they do, but all the while they are trying to manipulate and control and abuse you, and eliminating any other influences over you by making you feel that other people don't, isolating you from other people. And that's another form of the control that they have over you. So that's similar to what we're dealing with now. There's the powers that be, that have taken power. They certainly haven't been given it, and they are using it to control and manipulate the masses, and using misinformation and misdirection and fear to control a lot of people. So fear is one of the biggest weapons that the enemy uses against us. Fear. And that saying, there's nothing to fear but fear itself, is very true, because fear will paralyze you and stop you from moving forward. Fear will cause you to not make good decisions that are in your best interest. And a lot of times, many of us make all of our decisions from a place of fear. We choose where we're going to live. I mean, as some people, every aspect of their life is dominated by fear. I used to be one such person when I was younger. I was full of fear, and didn't even realize it. I was always not avoiding certain things because of the fear of what would happen if I didn't, not making decisions from a place of empowerment or empowerment, but thinking, if I don't do this, then this will happen. That's functioning from that's fear-based mentality. And many of us live in fear because of the trauma we've experienced or the lifestyles that we've lived. And so, especially if you've ever been abused or neglected, and the abuser kept you in a state of fear, because people who are afraid are easier to manipulate and control. And so keep that in mind. But fear is what will keep you stuck and will keep you under someone else's control. And so eliminate fear from your life and from your mind and from your heart. And then from that place, make sure that you start making choices from a place of power and a place of your inner strength and your inner knowing and what's best for you, not what you're afraid to do, not making decisions from a place of fear, but what is best for you. That's how we want to go forth and move forward in our lives. And like I said, one of the greatest weapons that's used against us is fear. And the enemy keeps people in a constant state of fear, talking about negative things in the media, making people feel that there's scarcity, making people feel that if they don't purchase certain things, they're going to miss out on something, or there's going to be some kind of lack or something like that. And that's fear mongering and fear based mentality. And we don't want to make decisions from a place of fear, but from a place of empowerment and and right guidance, and a place of thinking justice for yourself and for others. Okay. um when facing warfare, Like I said, fear is one of the weapons that the enemy uses against us. But in order to be successful in war, first of all, you got to recognize that there's a war taking place. That's the first step. You have to recognize what spiritual warfare is. And like I said, it's no ordinary war. This is something on a much deeper level. And once you recognize it, you won't be deceived by it. And then after that, start eliminating fear, which is one of the weapons that the enemy uses. There's all kinds of weapons out here, but that's just one of them. And recognize that and how to eliminate it. Um, in order to be successful at this time through this era, you got to arm yourselves. You know how people say you put on the armor of God? That is so true. You got to put on your armor of God or armor of righteousness, which is your right guidance, your right thinking, and making decisions from a higher vantage point, not from a place of fear. So that's what I mean by right guidance. So when they say put on the armor of God or put on your armor of righteousness, it's the right guidance, the right thinking, the right words, the right actions, not letting others define and dictate for you, but thinking for yourself and thinking what's best for you. All of that is those are your weapons and your defense against any type of spiritual warfare, is making sure that you are in control of your mind and that you are thinking for you and not someone else is controlling it. And unfortunately, a lot of time when people's minds are being controlled, they don't even know it. They think the thoughts they're thinking and the things they're saying are theirs, and they're not. They're being influenced by something else. So recognize that there is a war going on. Recognize that fear is being used as a weapon against you, and then, like I said, use that right guidance and that purifying your mind to help you navigate your way through this. That is your weapon. That is your weapon. Controlling your mind, thinking for yourself. That's how you arm yourself and you protect yourself at all costs. So just like if something were to if you saw a tank coming towards you, you would know how to outrun it, where to hide. You got to do the same thing when it comes to the spiritual and the psychological warfare. You got to make sure that you don't allow your mind to be contaminated by any of the negative things and negative emotions that are trying to influence you and to take you off your square. So always remember that, you know, that you have the ultimate control and power over your thoughts and your mind. Be careful and mindful of what you're listening to, who you're listening to, what type of thoughts are going through your head, and if it's for your highest good or if it's not. All of that. Um, Being careful and mindful of the company that you keep. That's another way that you can arm and protect yourself against all forms of warfare, because the enemy will come in different forms. It can come as a so-called friend, family member. Um, um, it can be as subtle as someone that's trying to diminish your dreams or trying to influence you to be a fear monger like them, or someone who's trying to you know just be a what they call a Debbie Downer. And you may say, well, I'm not doing this, and they always are trying to use fear-based tactics to get you back into the group think. That right there is also the enemy, and that is something that you have to arm yourself against. A lot of times people feel the need to share with you their unsolicited opinions and that you really don't care to hear. And a lot of times I think they mean well, and they just But a lot of times the opinions that they're expressing and trying to sway you away from or to sway you in a certain direction is coming from a place of fear within them. And because they're afraid and because they feel lack and limitation, they try to impose and project that onto you. And that's just spreading fear and negativity. And then we also have to remember, just like energy, is neither created nor destroyed. It just moves from place to place. And you got to be really careful and mindful of your energy at this time. If you are someone who doesn't do a good job protecting your energy, now's a good time to start protecting your energy, your thoughts, your mind, what you're listening to, what's absorbing in your brain and in your soul, what kind of people you're around, what type of company are you keeping, company in the form of books, company in the form of your spiritual practices, all of that's good company. And you want to arm yourself with those good practices, because that is what is going to help fortify you and keep you strong at this time and keep you safe through this storm, that because a lot of us are experiencing different levels of this warfare, and some people are just unbothered by it, and then there are others who are just terrified and out of their minds. And it's a lot of it is, how are you arming yourself and how are you protecting yourself through this type of warfare? Like I said, are you giving into the fear, or are you protecting yourself and putting your armor around you and making sure that you are fortified and strengthened at this time? Um, Always arm yourself and protect ourselves at all costs. Protect your mind, protect your soul. Upgrade your spiritual combat skills. Like I said, make sure that you are mindful of and protective of your energy, what you're listening to, what you're exposing yourself to. Be mindful of what you're seeing and hearing, because your eyes are the windows to the soul. And once you see something, it's there and it leaves an imprint in your mind. So you want to be more protective of what you're seeing, what you're listening to, what you're feeling. Take some time to do more mindfulness daily. When crazy things are happening around you or disturbing things are happening around you, because it is going to happen, you got to be razor sharp with how you control your energy and how you control how you respond to those situations. That is your armor. That is your protection. How are you going to respond? Are you going to allow fear to creep in? Are you going to panic or and become anxiety ridden and then not be able to think straight in certain difficult situations? Or are you going to breathe and maintain your calm and maintain your peace no matter what? You got to be razor sharp and focused with how you maintain your peace and maintain your sacred mind, and how you are going to handle uncomfortable situations. And I know it's a lot of things going on right now. Many people are feeling compromised in many different ways, financially, with their jobs, but you have control over your mind, and you have control over your energy and your vessel, and make sure that you are protecting yourself at all costs. So your spiritual combat skills would include your daily spiritual practices, which help give you strength and get you ready for everything that comes your way through the day. Just like a soldier or a person in a military service prepares for battle and they go through rigorous training, you got to do the same thing with yourself. You got to train your mind, train your body, train your spirit to get through this time that we're living in, and you have to train it and be diligent with it. You got to have a daily practice, daily spiritual practice, daily mindfulness, daily um physical practice, keeping yourself in shape, doing what you need to do to keep yourself healthy. All of this will help you in this time of this great change in this spiritual warfare. I can't stress this enough, but eating healthy is a must. If you are finding yourself overwhelmed with stress or anxiety or fear or other negative emotions, make sure you take time to nourish your mind and your body and your soul with good, nourishing food. The food that you eat and consume will give you the energy that you need to combat the anxiety and the stress. A lot of times, people are malnourished because they haven't been eating healthy. They've been eating a lot of junk or um, not nourishing themselves. They may be depleted of certain nutrients. They may need some sea moss. They may need some minerals and things to keep their body fortified and also to feed the brain. And so when we don't have those things to or we're not getting enough oxygen from the food that we're eating and enough nutrients from the food that we're eating, this can cause malnutrition, dehydration in the body, mineral and vitamin deficiencies, and you'll feel weaker, and that can lead to the feelings of the fear, the anxiety, the heart racing and all that. So make sure you take time to nourish yourself, eat healthier, um, eat the superfoods, drink some green juices, take your supplements, make sure that you're taking healthy supplements to keep you fortified. Make sure you're getting the rest that you need. Make sure you get the water that you need, drinking and staying hydrated. Not being hydrated also can cause you to have brain fog and not be able to think clearly. And when you're not thinking clearly, you won't be making good decisions, and that can make you vulnerable in times of this spiritual combat. So make sure that you take care of the body temple by nourishing it, getting the rest that you need, and your spiritual practices. Um, I mentioned earlier that this is a time unlike any other, and it is. And, we've been receiving warnings for years that a certain time period was coming and it was going to be something unlike any other time period. And we are living in that time now. These warnings came for years, and um folks, we are literally living in a real life science fiction fantasy movie unfolding before us right now. And those that know, but we can choose which side we're going to be on, and we'll come to a point at the crossroads where we'll find ourselves making that choice. And not only will we choose, we will be choosing what type of life that we want based on the choices that we make. So this is a time period like never before, and we need to prepare like never before. Get yourself ready. A wise man told me, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Keep that in mind. Another helpful tip to give you all and to share with you about any kind of warfare, whether it's psychological or spiritual, is know your enemy to be armored against it. Know your enemy. Recognize who and what the enemy is. Is the enemy within you? Is it without? Is the enemy living in your house? Is the enemy working with you? Is the enemy walking side by side with you daily? recognize the enemy. The enemy is something and someone that is in opposition to you. Many of us have the unfortunate, circumstance of living with someone, so-called family or otherwise, significant others or whatever, and that person is your enemy. Yes. They are not supportive of you. They do things that are detrimental to you and to your relationship, et cetera, et cetera. I don't have to go into a whole lot of detail about that. You all know I've done some previous videos in times past on narcissism, narcissistic abuse, and dysfunctional families and dramas and all that kind of stuff, and how to deal with difficult people in the workplace, etc. So recognize who your enemy is. Many people throughout history have been harmed and unalived and assassinated by folks who they thought were their friend or someone that they trusted. And I know that may seem a little deep for some of you, she talking about assassination, all that kind of stuff, but there's different ways that a person can hurt you, because remember what kind of warfare we talking about. Psychological. It's not always going to be the knife and literal in the back or something like that. There's other ways that people can abuse and mistreat you and cause harm. And just be aware of that. Watch people's movements. The best way to know who they are and what they are is watch how they move. Watch how they treat other people. Watch and listen to what they say and what they do. Watch what they do. Many people talk real good game, got a lot they can say. Some people have the gift of gab where they actually, it's a gift. They can say anything and keep you listening, keep you mesmerized, use such big words that you got to think and ponder and reflect on what they're saying, but they're really not saying anything. It's just their choice of words, or they're manipulating the conversation. Whatever. You got to be aware of who and what your enemy is and how to neutralize that enemy. The enemy could be your own thoughts. Are you telling yourself that you are not going to amount to anything? But I know people who are watching this channel don't think like that. But if you are you the one that's telling yourself what you can't do? Are you the one that's putting the limitations on yourself? Are you the one that's fear mongering, where you'll start a project and you'll start on something, and then that voice inside the head that's full of fear will start saying, oh, you shouldn't do that. What about this? Oh, you don't have the money for that. All those things. I've experienced it too. And next thing you know, you derailed your whole plan, or you turned around in a different direction because of the enemy within those thoughts that are holding you back. The perceived limitations and lack, or whatever the negative feelings are that you need to work through for yourself. Do your shadow work, do all of that internal work, so that you can align your mind, body, and spirit as one, into one entity, all working together in harmony for your highest good, not having a bunch of conflicting thoughts and conflicting ideas, and conflicting, motives. And just be mindful of, like I said, the enemy. If you struggle with kicking the cigarette smoking habit, or whatever the bad habit is, that's the enemy right there. That's the enemy. Matter of fact, I highly recommend using the Ramadan season or the Lent season or whatever season you're observing. Use this time to break those bad habits and to remove that enemy within, or to use this time to shed all the negativity, the things that's been holding you back within, the things that are keeping you from your highest good. We are approaching the spring season. This is the time to shed the old from the past and let go so you can make room for the new beginnings that's coming with spring, the new way of life. If you look outside, if you're in a place where you have spring, you'll notice that the trees which were dormant for so long, and the plants and the flowers and things, they are starting to bloom and awaken. So let's focus on awakening our highest good and our highest selves within us, and let's awaken the things that we really want to do for ourselves and with our lives. This is a great time to start new projects and new beginning. Shed the old habits, shed the old thought forms, the old ways of thinking, shed people that no longer are any good for you, or whatever it is in your life, so that you feel that it's keeping you stuck and stagnant. Now's the time to shed it. Now's the time to let it go, just like a snake sheds its skin and outgrows it. You've outgrown a lot of things. You've outgrown a lot of things. And it's time to just let them go. Don't have any kind of attachment to it. Don't think, and don't think too much on it. Just let it go, and to make room for you to grow and evolve and expand to the new version of yourself. Look forward to it. Look forward to the new changes that are coming. And I pray that each and every one of you receives this message, and I hope it's helpful and beneficial. We can get through this warfare, family. We've survived similar attacks before, and the enemy is always going to be coming at you. You just got to fortify yourself, strengthen yourself, and arm yourself so that you can always be ready for battle and be victorious and successful. Don't be hard on yourself, family. Remember, we light workers out there, we are, and remember, don't be hard on yourself, family. Make sure you are recognize that you are letting go of old behavior patterns and old thought forms that no longer serve you for your highest good. And with that said, yes, I have family. I wish you all a good evening. Peace and love. I gotta grab my butt.